you've probably noticed that every tab will lead to a new page, and we will need to accept the page where it will be redirected when clicked upon. Well, we'll get into that later on in the video. Now we just have to accept the text from the landing page. So I am going to write final title here, and then here I'm gonna write this.title and give it a comma. As you can see, I typed final title and this.title next to final and const. I'm going to explain the difference between those two right now. At first, you may think these variables mean the same thing as their definition is quite similar. But not really. There's one subtle difference between them that you need to know. To begin with, the compile time is the period when the programming code, such as Dart, is being converted to the machine code, i.e., zeros and ones. On the other hand, runtime is the period at which a program is running and generally occurs after compile time. So, const works only if the value is put inside the const variable during compilation time, whereas the final variable can be set both during run and compilation time. For example, let's say there's an app with a button, and inside the button widget there is a function. As you know, the function runs only after the button is pressed. The purpose of the function is to get some data from the internet and store it in a variable. Let's say we haven't set the value of the variable while coding. This way, only when we press the button, the variable will get its value from the internet. So, if the variable is a const variable, the code won't compile as the variable will not have any value during compilation. It will only get its value after pressing the button during runtime. But if we set the value before the compilation time, and that value will be in our code, then the code will obviously compile with the const variable. Final works for both cases. It's important to know the difference between them, as we need to remember in which case we have to use const and when we need to use final. Let's go ahead and write widget.title. Now, inside the landing page, we need to put the string value. So I am gonna type home. Let's also wrap it with row, as there will be many tabs. At this point, we need to head back to our components and give the text a bit of style to see what is written. So I'm gonna write Google Fonts and use the font called Oswald. Then give it a color. Let's choose black and set the font size to 23.0. Finally, let me reformat it and restart the app. Let's see how it looks. Yay, now we can see the font clearly. I don't know if you're able to distinguish the color difference between the scaffold background and the app bar background in the video, but the default color of scaffold is not white, it's gray 50. Therefore, I am gonna change the background color of the scaffold to white. Also, I'm gonna use a property called drawers and give it a drawer widget. Let me show you now what exactly a drawer is. I need to stop and run the app so that you can see the result. Now we need to wait a while